What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Cesar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. We are in the middle, it looks like right now, of breaking out of this consolidation phase we've been in now for about 10 days, right? If we measure this since the beginning, this is the 10th day here. You know, last time we had a consolidation phase, we broke out on the 16th day. We began our move on the 14th day, right? We haven't technically broken out here yet, but something like that, 14 to 16 days. Here, we got to this consolidation phase, and then it was the 9th day that we broke out. So 9 days, 10 days, 14 days, whatever. You know, we're all in the same area here, so it makes sense to me. Hold on one second. Okay, so here we are at about $105.4 thousand, 9 hours and 6 minutes left, up 2.2% on the day so far. Looking at the RSI, we did exactly what we set out to do, you guys. We got out of the overbought zone, we got back into the overbought zone. Let's see how it closes, let's see how the day closes, but I'm pretty optimistic. Call me crazy, but I'm optimistic on this Sunday being a good day. That was the expectation yesterday. I didn't know how much of a green day we'd get today. I didn't know if we'd be kicking off the breakout today or what, but a green day it is, and it looks like we don't have too much volume, at least by the index's standards. Let's see what Coinbase says. Yeah, same kind of thing there. What was I gonna do? Oh yeah, let's go back in time and just look at these Sundays real quick here. Okay, so let's just do it from here. I don't think that we need to do too much stuff. Let's get, where are they? Right here, cyclic lines. And we'll go from Sunday. Sunday was right here. We'll go to the next Sunday. So every single one of these lines is on a Sunday. Okay. Not every Sunday is a big day, but sometimes you get a big Sunday, right? That Sunday there was a 4% day to the upside, which for a weekend day is not bad, Here, not so much. Here, not so much. Here, not so much. But sometimes we do get some bigger movements on Sundays. Sometimes Sundays are those days where we get some real follow through to the downside or even to the upside here, right here. And the last 5 Sundays in a row, I want to say have been boring. If we look at this, here you move down with a purpose. Here you didn't really. 1, 2, 3, 4. That one you kind of moved with a purpose a little bit, but not really. 4, 5. That was 5 neutral Sundays in a row. Throughout this bull market, I don't know if we've seen that many kind of neutral Sundays, something that's moved without purpose. On Sunday and Monday, generally we do get a little combo day moving up with Bitcoin here. So I'm curious to see what tomorrow brings. If today can close here, let's look at the 4 hour, let's look at the 1 hour time frame and see what we got going on here. Okay, 1 hour time frame. You can see to the bullish effect, we're all the way up at the 85, man. We're getting some pretty damn strong readings. This is the strongest reading we've seen since back here. Now, just because we're super overbought doesn't mean that, okay, now it's time to sell and we're going to go down. No, that's not what that means, right? Think about it like this, okay? It had been some time since we were in the overbought zone here, right? It had been some time. When we ran up, we went all the way up to the 82, 81, whatever. We went right there. And then, yes, we went down and we corrected. What did we do here? We moved up. We had a nice little move up. Didn't break out. We had a move up. We consolidated a little bit, and then we went on our run. And that's kind of what I'm assuming is happening here, right? We're moving up. We're at the top of the range right now. We're moving up. We'll consolidate a little bit. We're on the 1 hour time frame. We still have 9 hours left in this day and then a full 24 hours in the next day, right? Between this time and tomorrow's close, which would be right here, I think we'll consolidate and move higher. Does that make sense? So I don't think that even though we're at $105,000 now, the call would not be that for the rest of the day we're just pushing up to 107, 108K. Maybe we do. I'm not saying that we can't. This is just what I'm expecting, and if we do anything outside of what I'm expecting, I would think that it would be to the upside and not to the downside, because this 1 hour RSI looks killer right here. To the downside maybe a little bit, right? We might consolidate between here and like $104,000. That I could see. So if we dropped it back to 104,000, that's not what I'm talking about whenever I say downside. Downside, I don't think that we're going to pull back like this is what I mean, right? I'm just saying I think that we'll be up in this area until we're ready to move higher. That's essentially that, right? It'll be like consolidation like this, but up here. And then when we're ready to move higher, I think it'll be tomorrow that we press on higher. You guys, you understand we're in the middle of a move right now that's likely going to take us to $120,000. We're at $105,000 now. Bitcoin as of now is in the middle of its move, its next move that will take us to $120,000. Okay, it's verified. I think today really, depending on how it closes, right? We still got 9 hours left. A lot of time, 2% up on the day is not too much. You know, in nine hours we can definitely pull back 2% and even go down 2% past that. But it certainly does look like we're breaking out of this right now. If we are breaking out of this, you know, from the cycle high in January 2020, or the 20th of January 2025 to the cycle, or to this consolidation phase low on April 7th here, high to low, the minimum measure move to the 1272 would be at about $121,000, okay? And that lines up pretty well with what we've seen on these movements so far, right? If we take this, and I've done this a couple of times over the past week now, but from a low to a high, 15% here, from a low here to a high there, maybe not the absolute high of the consolidation range, just like the high of the move, 14% there, low here to the high, 13% there, right? From where we are now, not the low of the range, but just from like where the move kicked off, right? Like I measured where the move got kicked off, not the low of the range over here. You know, to get to the 1272, that's about a 17% move. It's a little bit bigger than all of these. It'll be a more pronounced move. Maybe the meat of the move is, you know, here 13%. Maybe we just snap really quickly up to about $115,000 to $117,000, something like that, and then we slowly climb to 121K. Maybe we snap to 121 and we slowly climb to 130. I don't know. Perhaps we blow past both of these and we're not stopping until we see an overall pump that takes us to around 130, 140K. I don't know. But the next target, the minimum target, would be 121K. Right now, if we are moving higher, and I think we are, the path before us says that our next stop at a minimum, at least, is 121K. We need to start getting familiar with these 120, 130, 140K target Bitcoins, because 100,000, 105,000, that's going to be a thing of the past here very, very soon, you guys. We're not going to be down here forever, and I don't think that we'll be returning down here anytime soon, if not never again, ever again in Bitcoin's history. Daily time frame looks super bullish. We could get a higher reading in the RSI, produce a stronger reading, get something that's up here like this, right around the 90. If we see the strongest reading of this overall phase here, I would assume that we might produce the strongest move too, and that coincides with the idea that we could see 121K or more, right, by way of measuring these moves here. Looking at the weekly time frame, we are barely, oh so barely, but we've got the week to the green side, 1% to the upside. We're looking like we want to cross the threshold in the overbought zone here. At the very least, we're not looking like we're rejecting it, right? So we're getting the green weekly close, it looks like, and we might be pushing higher into the overbought zone. Once we get in the overbought zone on the weekly time frame, that's where the real magic happens, okay? Let's do this real quick, okay? Hold on. I'm going to mute this real quick. I have to cough. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a line right here, right whenever you first got overbought right there. Not these little like attempts in and then attempts out, right? Like this was after the fact. This was, you were trying but not really there. Here it looks like you're going to go for it, right? And then here as well, right? Okay, something like this. And let's just see what you did the last handful of times. Well, this was, I guess, your end of cycle rally back then, right? We're kind of in our end of cycle rally now, so this might be a good comparison, actually, as far as what to expect. We did grow from here. And I'm going to go from the closing point, right? The week before we closed here, the move had already started, absolutely. But when we closed the week before, we were not in the overbought zone. So from the point that we closed in the overbought zone to the high, Bitcoin moved up, 370% in the course of, 390%, sorry, almost 400% there, from October 20th, 2020 to April 12th, 2021. November, December, January, February, March, April. 6 months. 400% pump in 6 months. The next time from the closing price, because again, the week before we were technically not in the overbought zone, and the moves did start there. We're just going to go from the closing price to that next high. That was up about 113%. 113% in a very, I keep forgetting that I've got this thing on. 113% in a very short amount of time. That was from, what is that? That was from October, again, October 23rd until, if I can get that right, March 11th. Okay, so October, November, December, January, February, March. About 4.5 months, almost 5 months there that we moved up 113%, okay? Here, when we got overbought, we didn't move up too much. And this is why I was really assuming this last move here. This is where I got things wrong. You know, for a long time, I was thinking that we were going to make this move up already that we're seeing now. I was not expecting this consolidation phase to last this long, but it did. But 65 or 85, 35%. Damn, 35%. Very, very small move there. Okay. Overall, this move was a 122%. You know, overall this move was bigger too, but just from the point that we got overbought each time, we did continue. That's the main essence of this, right? These moves are getting smaller as it goes on, but the essence of the story here, the main message is once we get overbought, that's whenever we really start to get rocking and rolling, right? The last time was not so much an example of that, but I can promise you that's not a prime example, right? That's not a commonality with what we see in Bitcoin. Whenever you get in the overbought zone on the weekly time frame, generally speaking, you do see some massive growth, and the effect is definitely positive. If we're looking at this here from a high to a low, getting overbought now, my direct assumption would be that not only will we see 121K, but we'll likely press on to higher prices, right? If we see something that's on the lines of like a 400% move over the next 6 months, like we did during last cycle's finale phase, which I very much do think we can see. I very much do believe that we could see a 400% move between here and the end of the cycle over the next, well, if it's May, 6 months, sure. 6 months, 5 months, maybe more, maybe less time, but something around there. You know, 400% growth would be about 535K. I could see it happening. Maybe we only do 300% growth and we stop at 440K. Maybe we do a little bit more than that. We stop at 645. But I think 500K sounds about right as far as where we're going to go ultimately, right? Not based off of this fib, but based off of this one here, from a high to a low. Bitcoin does like to top off at its 2272, right? So I'm just saying, man, this could be what we're about to experience right now. What I'm trying to get to, and I feel like I'm doing a poor job at doing it, but this could be the beginning of something that is so massive for this cycle that it takes us up to $500,000 between now and the end of the year, right? Between now and like the next 5 to 6 months. It really could, not just to the 2272, because oftentimes with the 2272 you don't stop there, but you go just above there, right? And just above there would be 500K. Maybe we stop just below 500K, just above 500K, but somewhere in that area, right? The reason why I'm going with the 2272 is that the very first bull cycle here, high to low, I guess bear cycle high to low, we went all the way up to the 2272 in the next bull cycle, right? We stopped at the 1618, bounced off the 1272, went all the way up to the 2272. Very common extension play right there, actually, going 1618, 1272, 2272, just like that. That's actually a very common thing. Back to find support on the 1618, and then you're off to the races to the next zone here. Okay, we take the high to the low of this, and we notice that we go above the 2272 yet again. Right there, right above the 2272, and then here you stop in the money zone on the next one. Let's see. High to low here. This one was only the golden ratio. We did not hit the 2272, but last cycle, you guys, we stopped at the 1618. We double topped. I think this we were supposed to run up to the 2272, but we had quantitative tightening, high interest rates, high inflation around the world. The dollar was, the DXY was in an expansion mode instead of dying like it is now. We had post-COVID times. The war between Ukraine and Russia happened shortly after that. A lot of conflicts were going on, and just things economically speaking around the world were not good. We're in a different situation now. We're in a very, very different situation now, okay? But there are a lot of reasons for the price to be held back there, and I think that that's exactly what happened. High to low here, there's not so many reasons now. 462 makes sense. I don't believe that we're going to stop at 173K. I'll tell you what, if by the end of June we're here and that's the end of the cycle, then okay, maybe we end our cycle here, but I don't see us ending in June. But it could happen. It could, end of June, early July could be the end. That would be the only way that I see us stopping at 173K. But if you're like me and you assume that this cycle is going to go into the end of this year, maybe even the beginning of 2026, you're assuming that the money supply, the monetary policy of the world is just now kicking into effect, right? The M2 money supply is just about to start getting liquid with the markets. We're about to start seeing some money coming in to risk on assets. I would think that we don't stop here. I would think that if we're just beginning that trend with the M2 money supply, the global liquidity is coming up, I would think that that implies more growth over the months to come, not just over the weeks to come. And I do believe that that'll take us up to $500,000, just above the 2272, like we've done every single cycle except for last cycle. Okay, if we take the high to low, I'm just curious. What about this cycle? Because I noticed something else too. I noticed that we interact with the money zone in the next cycle. I don't think we're going to go here. I don't think we're going to go there. No. That would be cool. But the highest I'd give us, you guys, I don't think we see $1 million by the end of the cycle, but the highest I'd give us might be like 775,000. But I really do think we'll stop at 500K. But I got way off the book here. I don't know why I got all distracted with the long-term stuff, but essentially it all starts here. $105,000 now, 8 hours, 52 minutes left in the day. Getting back into the overbought area here on the daily, looking to get there in the overbought zone on the weekly. This is probably where I got distracted, is just talking about where we're going to go. And yeah, that's the expectation. So I got nothing else for you guys. I hope you liked the video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. You know, this last move here, where we did move up like 400% in a 6 months time, over 400% if you take the low of the move to the high of the move. The RSI started at a much higher price, much higher reading, right? We're starting at a much lower reading here. We've got a lot more. We're essentially starting our move off already, and we haven't even hit the overbought zone yet, right? We've got a lot of growth to go. I'm assuming this move here, if this is the beginning of what I think it is, which is the finale phase of the bull market, this move here will be more robust than this move here. And a move matching that nature right there, matching this move, a move tit for tat with this move from the low. It's a little bit above the low, but whatever. That would take us to right about at $500,000. And I think that we will see something that is on the lines of this, if not bigger than this. It might even be stronger. It might be the exact same size, but just in a shorter amount of time. But we'll see how it goes. I got nothing else for you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe. This is the beginning of some exciting stuff, you guys. It really is. All right, take care. Bye.